Great day, family. Thanks for tuning in to the Community Nonprofit Network Podcast, aka the CNN Podcast, where your nonprofit shines. My name is Ericka Scott. I am your host and Executive Director of LifeChangers, Inc. And with me today is one of my favorite young ladies, Arianne Garcia. And Arianne is a volunteer with LifeChangers. She is our Google manager handling Google Ads and Google Analytics. So Arianne and I are going to have a conversation to help those new and struggling businesses, nonprofit and for-profits, can use the information we are going to discuss, and basically to help you get your marketing, your advertising, and your analytics a bit more focused to help you get to the next level, which I'm thinking is where you want to head. So, Arianne, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, sure. Of course. You are, we just had our volunteer meeting the other day, and, my ears are still like tingling. I've been bragging to everybody, my mom and my kids are like, can you believe, so, I definitely, I've been saying for a while that I needed to have you on because I know one thing that we have in common is, with your personal situation, and I don't know if you want to get into it or not,
We can.
but you're interested in starting a nonprofit for your reasons. And that was one reason why you were interested in coming over and working with us so that you could learn like the ins and outs of, I know you volunteer with nonprofits, but maybe not, getting to be a part of the business aspect. So when you said you know how to do Google Ads and analytics, that was a marriage made in heaven, So yes. So let's start with Marketing 101, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I would like you to explain to our listeners, because I always say a nonprofit is a business and it has to be treated as such. So from a business perspective, can you please talk about marketing for a minute?
Yes. So all marketing really means is just, getting yourself out there in a way that people can see you, advertising. And in this day and age, especially with Google Ads, it's a lot of the times has to deal with words, keywords. And as far as like how you use the words, it definitely matters, because if you're looking for like toy cars, and let's just say that you're okay with like hand-me-down toy cars, you're not going to want to type in used cars into Google search, because you're going to get real used cars, like
exactly.
So you have to make sure that that the words that you use are in the correct order. They're going to bring the right things to you, and are also going to show you to the right people.
Right. So now then, how do you choose keywords?
Yes. So you're going to want to use words that your audience looks up, and it sounds so obvious, but it's actually different, right? Because when you're like, let's just say people who work with money aren't going to type in the same words with money as people who don't have money.
Right.
And they're not going to use the same language. And so it's the most important part of marketing is making sure you speak the language of the person you're trying to talk to.
Oh, that was a good one. Say that again.
The most important part of marketing is making sure you're using the language that's going to reach the person you're trying to talk to.
Perfect. Okay, so then I always talk about target market versus target audience. And so the audience, I always use little Billy on a Saturday morning watching cartoons. And we're in the holiday season, so this is perfect. And so there's that new thing, red shiny thing out that little Billy wants. So how do you talk to little Billy as opposed to the target market, mom or dad who's buying it?
Yeah. So to be honest, you're going to want to talk to both, but you're going to want to talk to both differently. You're not going to want to talk to Billy like he's Billy's mom. And you're not going to talk to Billy's mom like he's Billy. Like, you're going to want to say, like, this shiny red thing is 20% off. That's going to get Billy's mom's attention.
Exactly. Exactly. And that, I think, is what you said. My mind is like in a million different directions since you said speaking their language, and that is exactly what keywords do. Yeah. So how do you shape a marketing message? Because keywords are only one part of the ad.
Yeah.
That you set up. So talk to us about the other parts of the ad and how you shape that to bring it all together to get the amazing results that LifeChangers gets from your efforts.
Yes. So, when you're thinking about your target market and you want to think about what they want in all, and even if like you're not actually selling like a product or using dollars, you're selling an idea. It's just convincing. You know what I mean? You're convincing someone to click on your ad. So you want to convince them with something that they want. Like, executive directors want help. They want community. They want networking. They want organizing. So those are the kind of words that you're going to want to use to get their attention. So putting them all together, it's like it differs. Like, when you're putting the words together in your headline, you only want to use really just one of those words. You're not going to, if you say something like, if you have networking and community as part of your keywords, then and you can have a headline like organizing with like minds. You can have a headline that says network with your community. You can have a headline that, you know, putting them together to be like, hey, this is where you can go to get that help. That, like, hey, like, maybe this executive director did something a little different that might work for you. And so you want to talk to each other. But, like, it's hard to find. So, like, the great thing about the Google Ad Grants is that you can use them to talk to different people, and you want to write the headline to be what you want to click on. Right. So if you want to attract donors, you might write nonprofit needs help, because what do donors want? They want to help, and they want to know that who they're helping, what they're helping, is good for something. And nonprofit has that reputation. Nonprofit as a word has a reputation of being like, oh, that's a good thing. That's something that you put money in it and good stuff happens for the world, for the people, for whoever.
Right.
And so, so for donors, you know, then people, you know, a lot of the times they're not just going into Google typing like, where do I give my money?
Oh, that would be so nice. Oh, that would be so nice. No.
So you want to, you know, you want to use words that's gonna get you in view of people who have money, and I mean, to be honest, like you could even use words like luxury, like even if all you're doing is just promoting, you know, if you're promoting your podcast or promoting like your donor page, you know what I mean? Like that word will show up in front of people who are looking up luxury, and guess what? People who are looking up luxury have? They have money.
You know what? And that's why you do what you do, because I hadn't even thought all the keywords that I've sent to you as suggestions. And luxury has not been one of them.
Yeah. And you know, and I don't, and it's also important too, like where you put the words. You know what I mean? Like yes. If I use a word like luxury to promote like the reentry program, that's not going to work really, because that's not the audience that's for.
Right.
But also, like sometimes ex-cons don't always use words like prison reentry, so you want to use words like jail. and you want to use words like felon, words that they would type in, so that it brings the ad to what they would see. Because when you use words like, and you can also put in words like prison reentry. I'm not saying that that's obviously it's what it is. You want to use the obvious words, and then they're gonna look up those words too. But like, it's widening the net.
Gotcha.
It's widening the net, because you want to make sure that you're seen in front of everybody who needs to see you.
And with that, just throwing some caution out there is, you don't want to make it so wide that, even though it's Google Ad Spend is the grant that gives you up to $10,000. And folks, I've talked about this so many times in the past. You have plenty of episodes to go back and check it out. And if you don't know, then feel free to contact us. Visit the website, thecnnpodcast.com. Click the contact us and drop a note. What is the Google Ads grant? But even when you're using, and tell me if you agree, Arianne, even using the Google Ads grant, you still need to be strategic in how you set up your ads, your budget.
Yeah.
And because like when I started, before you came on board, I think I had 3 campaigns with maybe 2 ad sets per, and now we have a lot more. we have a lot more. So I could be that wide, cast a wide net, but then when you need to be more strategic and more focused, then you want a wide net, but wide still in your industry, right?
Yeah, and being careful with using certain words like YouTube. If you want the word YouTube, if you want to see it, like if you want to see something, do YouTube podcast and set it for worldwide. That'll show you something. But make sure you're not spending a lot of money already, but it gets you in front of people, and you're not just getting in front of people who don't speak English. You're getting in front of expats. You're getting in front of like the military Americans who are overseas, like that, and also, sometimes things like just get randomly popular, and at random times, like this last week when we got all those hits from Turkey, like that was wild. That wasn't like that.
And no pun intended, wild turkey. Okay,
yeah. But like, what I mean? But like if one person, what I mean, like somebody could donate. You know what I mean? Right. They're like, wow, this is a great thing. That's so crazy that it came in front of me. That's cool. And then they donate. And that's really what you want. Right. But you have to be careful, So, so if if you're going to be using words like YouTube and podcasts, make sure you're pairing them with harder words specialized words, nonprofit and community. Or if let's say you're an animal shelter, you might want to pair it with like dogs or like cats or like this kind of podcast, and you know what I mean. And really try to use as many of your specialized words as possible. If not avoid altogether, as just making sure that you don't use the word YouTube unless you know what you're doing with it.
Right.
Like with us, I didn't even attempt to go there until I knew, okay, this is, you know what I mean? All these other ads have these really specialized keywords. They are really only seen by the people who are meant to see them. And I have this one ad that's the YouTube ad that we use to get the worldwide attention, to be hey, this is us and this is our podcast and this is this. And so you don't want to use that for every single one. You really just one ad will, you know what I mean? It's a powerful word.
Right. It is. And plus for folks who may not know that YouTube is owned by Google now. They bought it a few years back, and of course they're going to push it. because YouTube is actually the number one search engine over Google since Google bought it. But that's because video has gotten to be so popular worldwide. And so, you have to be strategic because before Google bought YouTube, and I was learning Google ads almost 10 years ago. I blew $300 in a day. Easy. And that wasn't even using words like YouTube. So if you pull up YouTube and a word like podcast, which I believe gets about 4 million, it's about 4 million posts on Facebook. Because when I post there on our Facebook page and, you do the hashtag and Facebook will show you how many posts. Yeah. Well, the word podcast alone has 4 million, I think it is 3.4 million or 4 million. It's a lot. So it's the same thing with ads. You know, those words. Basically, folks, you don't want to put in words just to get attention if you're not answering that need. So now, with that being said, Arianne, how about we transition into bounce rate? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So just a catty corner into bounce rate from YouTube. When you when you're doing just to give you an idea, our bounce rate went up 20% when I created that YouTube ad. Because what's happening is people are like, okay, so when the bounce rate is how long people stay on your page. Right. And you want them to stay forever, right? The longer someone's on your page, the lower your bounce rate is, the happier you are because they're interested in what you want.
Right.
Now, like I said, when your YouTube is a wide net, so people are coming, especially worldwide. And if you're LifeChangers is we do reentry in Atlanta and the Cobb County and what was the other county? Echo County. So it's a small area in Georgia compared to the world,
Right.
So when I created that, all of a sudden we had people in Turkey and India and everywhere, and they're not going to be super interested in what we do.
Well, right? I will say though, hang on, because I will say we had Salman, who was an intern. He just finished the internship program last month, and he was in school outside of Shanghai.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. I just
Yes, we also had Charles, who was a volunteer, and he was in Malaysia, and we had Jose, who is in Colombia, South America. So those ads, they were attracting the right people because all three of them were with us for a while and did really good work.
Yeah, and also just mentioning, just to put this out there, because I have come across people, executive directors who are who don't know what to do with volunteers from out of the country. If you have somebody who's interested in helping you, don't push them away.
Oh yeah, no.
Find something for them to do. If delegating is hard for you to do, then an out of the states volunteer is going to be the best thing for you to teach you how to delegate, because you don't want to send anybody away who's trying to help you. If you just want to have them answer emails, you know what I mean? It's like something. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 volunteers. We have 2 interns and 3 community service workers. And we still have plenty. I still have 2 really key volunteer roles I'm looking to fill. One for social media, which ironically enough is the one I get the most interest in and can't get anybody. That's what Charles in Malaysia was doing, but he got real busy with his own thing. And then the other role is volunteer CFO and treasurer. And that I don't get hits on. I don't have anybody for either one of those, but like you're saying, it's you don't push anybody away. No, I know.
I don't
Yeah.
push anybody away.
Yeah, I know, and that's and your example is exactly why. Like I told, like who it was, like the person who told me that, I was like, oh, just delegate. Like,
It's not. It's easier than it sounds, though, because
that's
some
true.
people, and that's why this podcast it is so near and dear to me, because I think it's important to discuss not just networking. We are working to build a global network of community nonprofit organizations, which is greatly needed. Share resources and information and updates and this, that, and the other. But also because there are things, like I said, I come from for-profit, got a profitable trucking company that's making good money. But when nonprofit is I thought was way different. You have people that are that may not have ever even had a business. I at least had a business, so I knew business, how to keep a business for almost 20 years. But you have some people coming out of like a cubicle, or even managing a company, but that's not starting and growing. And then here we are talking about digital, not just because LifeChangers was born during the pandemic, but because you can't meet with those interns and community service members in Malaysia, in South America, in Canada. You're going to meet with them. You got to meet with them online. So you have to be good at delegating, but it requires leadership skills that everybody doesn't have.
Yeah,
they would like to have, but you don't know what you don't know until you need to know it, right?
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So it's again, it's and ads, that's definitely a part of it, to get yourself out there. In the for-profit world, it says they say marketing gets you known, sales get you paid. Well, marketing is marketing, like you said. Marketing is getting in front of people, your brand, some people get really down to the details, like your font and colors. I mean, that's all branding, brand management and all that. But then you also have sales and commissions. So talk to us about how you use Google Ads to run. Oh, let me just say this for anybody who hasn't heard of Google Ads. Because people get really excited when I talk to them about this on the phone, and they're like, "Oh, really? Like, yeah, but hang on a minute, hang on a minute, because it's not like a Google Ad account that you're paying for when you put your Visa in there, because this one here makes it a lot more challenging because you can't use pictures, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you also nor can you use video, right?
You only get one type, and it's the search ad. You can they show you there's 9 or 10 different kinds of Google ads, and you get really excited, and then they're like, you can only use search. They don't even block them out for you. They let you click on it, and then at the end they're like, do they have a little checkbox?
They let you do the whole ad setup, and then it's at the end. Oh, you can't use this. Why didn't you tell me this 30 minutes ago?
For some reason you're just able to, even though at the end they're like, you can't do this.
Right.
I think honestly they're still working out their kinks. They just barely did it in a way to where you didn't have to add your card. Like I think in the past they had a way you had to add your card, and you just had to be like, and like they're just like, we don't do refunds. If you messed it up, you messed it up.
Oh yeah, that we wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it because like I said, when I did have a budget for it and it said at $300, it wasn't meant to be in a day, but that's how much I paid for that lesson that day. But now with the nonprofit, no, I'm not covering that one. I'm not covering. Hey, I tell you what, if we lost $300 in a day from an oops, I wouldn't be joking. I wouldn't be laughing right now. Yeah. I can laugh because, Okay, so now.
Don't put like every single ad worldwide. Have some of your ads to be local. Have some of your ads to be, do you want your donate ads? You want your volunteer ads to be global because you want global dollars. You want global help. But but like the people who are like who you want to attract to your program, like you want that to be, the people that you're for. Like if you're in a city, you want the people in your city. If you have a building, you want them to come to your building. And you want it to be you want your ad to be like in a driving distance of your building. And that's like, hey, this is where we do this service in that way. Oh, okay. And you're more likely to get conversions for your programs when you do them locally. And then, you like your global and your global volunteer and donor ads, those are your big spender words, that's the ones that's like, hey, look at me. But, the specialized ones for your programs, that's going to be the strategy. That's what helps you. Because you don't spend as much on those. And so that's what gives you that leeway to be able to spend on the global ads, because those get you, those get like an entirely different kind of attention.
Yes. Now I will say this, and it's, totally up to you folks. Personally, I don't mind. Arianne is one of our board members. I didn't mention that. Arianne is one of our board members, and Arianne is in Texas, and we're in Atlanta. She's San Antonio. We're in Atlanta, Georgia. So I don't mind Arianne being in Texas. However, when it comes to the CFO and treasurer position, I want that person local. Yeah. I really want you deal with our money. I need.
I need to be able to see you.
Knocking on your hello.
Well, when you're talking about the money, you're gonna want somebody who works right next to you. I mean, there's a trust thing, but also because you need to be, hey, do we have the money to spend on this? Like, what does it look like for this? And that's going to be somebody who you don't want to be messing around with time zones.
That's true. That's true. Because we have, let's see, we're Eastern, you are Central, and and our interns are Pacific because they're up in Tacoma. So we're widespread, and we did at one point have people in every single time zone. Yeah. But getting it done, that's what it takes. So now share with us, what resources do you use, or could you suggest, if any, to help people find keywords?
Yeah, so when I was first before I got the hang of it, really of the algorithm itself, I use this thing called Uber Suggest. It's called app.neil Neil Patel, PATEL.com.
And shout out to Neil Patel.
Right. Well, he was an individual guy who bought Uber Suggest, but and then changed it to his name, and it became like a personal marketing thing based off of everybody who was.
You just taught me something. I didn't know he bought that.
Suggest. Yeah, it was it's a free thing you can sign up for, but it's you get a limited amount. So you get 3 searches a day. So you got to use your searches wisely. I learned when I was first setting up the account, I was, just to give you guys an idea of the amount of time that you want to dedicate to this in order to make it right, because mistakes, they can be that month. Yeah. So I was in there every day for the first month, 5 days a week, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Wow. And that was because I was getting everything, I was almost brand new, because the Google Ads grant, it's the same format, but it's a different kind of style. So it's really you're kind of dealing with spaghetti and chicken Alfredo.
I prefer the latter. Okay, I'm listening. So my attention, because now I'm getting hungry.
Noodles and sauce, but it's different kind of noodles and sauce, and you make it a little differently. So when I was going in there, I was using this free tool. I was only limited to my 3 searches. So when I was trying to figure out, okay, I started one ad at a time, and the ad that I was doing was the workshop. It was the workshop ad. I can't remember if it was the virtual or not. I don't think it was, but it might have been. It was a local ad. I remember that.
That was the actual in person, because we just started the workshop. Right? A couple of months.
Yes, ago. I remember the virtual workshop was one that we did after I had already gotten the hang of it, and it was you're right, absolutely. So it was the in person one that we worked. So it was a local ad that I was looking for. So I was like, okay, so I want to use the right words, right? I typed in, I did. It was funny that day. I did my all three of my searches were prison reentry, and then prison again because I hit enter. That was a day, right? So then I was just like, okay. And if it's green, that means that it's a good one. Like some of them will be red, and just that specific tool. And if certain words will bring up too many things. Like prison by itself brought up way too many things. We would have been lost in the shuffle. But the word jail, that's a communal word. That's really they have jails in the sense that there's jails, but institutionally they refer to them as prisons. So when you type in the word jail, you get more of a people people looking for jail resources, bonds and programs and the like, and so that's just an example, but once you get the hang of the tool, where you're like, okay, you start getting the sense of which words are going to be for your thing. When you're typing in the same thing over and over again, and you see, it's bringing up the same kind of, it's prison reentry services, prison services reentry, you know what I mean? And then they'll have city, prison services reentry Atlanta, you know what I mean? And so you want to, you also, when you're doing, you don't forget your cities and your counties and your states when you're doing your local ads.
Yes.
And you want to put all of them on there. Even putting slang, for San Antonio, I would put military city. I'm not kidding. I want everybody.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And military cities, what we call ourselves is we have 3 or 4 military bases here.
Right,
so
right.
Locally, socially, we'll be yay, And so if I want to have an ad where I'm targeting the San Antonio area, I'm going to use San Antonio words. So if I'm I didn't know the slang words for Atlanta because I don't live in Atlanta. But
Atlanta. There you go.
I use Atlanta. I use Georgia. I use Cobb County. I use Eccles County. I even use surrounding counties, so that way, people who have cars, you know what I mean? Could still it didn't seem like it was that far away, and in San Antonio, San Antonio takes up all of Bexar County, and then there's 4 counties around it that are within 10-minute distances of the line of Bexar County, and it's all San Antonio. So it looked like there would have been there was a similar setup in Atlanta on the map. So that's what I did. And so for those of you who find yourselves in a position like I am, where you're doing the ads for a place that's not where you are,
right?
So you don't forget the local words, and if you have the time for it, I highly recommend too, just finding out just going into incognito mode. So
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was totally somewhere else with it.
I'm a language person, so I'm I just start throwing out words we're on tab.
You said invisible. I'm I want to know what this is.
So if you have the time for it, after you use the Uber suggest, you get a few words, go into the incognito mode. Now, what that does is that runs for those who don't know, that runs a Google internet page where it doesn't track your cookies and your history, and that'll give you an idea of what the random person is putting in the search engine and what they see. Because when you type in prison reentry, it's going to be all the things that you it's going to pull all the stuff in your computer about that you deal with prison. So if I were to type it in, I would probably get state websites. I would probably get other nonprofit programs. I'm not gonna that are similar, but probably not exactly what I would be looking for. So when you go into incognito mode and, you type in, prison reentry Atlanta, which is what, like the main one of what I did just to start off. This is what I did. I was able to look and see like what the average person was seeing, and there were, and I did the same thing with our name. I typed in LifeChangers. I see who else is coming up as LifeChangers. LifeChangers Atlanta. Who else is coming up LifeChangers Atlanta? What did their ads look like?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like trying to like not so much compete necessarily, because that wasn't even in my head, but if I'm going to use similar words to them, I'm probably going to show up next to them.
Right.
And so I want to make sure that it's a complimentary so that I show up next to them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And there is a LifeChangers in Texas. I want to say is it Fort Worth? I want to say it's the northern part of Texas, but their site, like, we're LifeChangersInc.org. And they are online LifeChangers.org, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty, because I was getting confused. In Google search, everybody looks alike except the name, and the name's looking just alike. And I'm on with Google support, like, why can't I edit my own page? Because it's not your page, but, yeah, well, I'll say this as far as resources. Uber suggests that is a good one. I learned that. I didn't realize I learned it from Neil Patel because it was one of his. But Neil Patel, for anybody who's interested, if you want to go a little deeper with like SEO, Neil Patel is your guy. He's been doing this forever and a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I use keywords everywhere, and that I like it because I use Chrome, and they have a browser extension. And so when you hover over like websites and YouTube channels, and it pulls up like certain stats right there. I mean, you don't have to go clicking anywhere. As you hover your mouse, you can see information, rankings, it's dangerous. The free stuff, and again, that's what we share on here, free and low cost. And this keywords everywhere. And I believe the website is keywords.io or keywordseverywhere.io. But just go to Google and Google keywords everywhere, Chrome extension. Boom, it's going to take you right there. And I'm not going to lie, it does get a little aggravating because it does highlight and give you information on every word you're going to go across. But if you are in that mode, like Arianne said, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm just doing this, then you can go ahead and turn that extension on and get to working with it. And you can go to another company's information, and you'll see what keywords they're ranking for. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's awesome. It is really awesome. Okay, let's move on. Were there any tips that you wanted to share about advertising that a newbie might, a snag that you can help them avoid?
Yeah. Be mindful of your punctuation.
Yes. Yes.
An extra space at the end. They'll be like, your ad's not it. And then I'll be like, why? And there was an ad, one of our ads wasn't going for weeks. I couldn't figure it out. I was going in there and I was like, there's not random explanation points. I was like, there's not random question marks. Their biggest thing is they don't want a letter and then a period and then a letter and a period, a letter, a period. They don't want an exclamation point in the middle of your word. They want it to be easy to read. So that's make it easy. So let's just give you an example. For your description, it's 1 or 2 sentences. Let's make them regular sentences. I would even say stay away from the ellipses, the dots.
And I'm big, I'm big on that. When you get my emails, it's but what about?
Yeah, no, I am too. But I one of the things that I saw, just for that, just specifically for that, was that it looks like there's more on the ad, and if it's not clickable, it can look kind of confusing. But
True.
a space counts, and it counts as your headline.
Yes. No, you hit the nail right on the head, because I can't tell. Oof.
Yeah. I was like,
my stomach is like getting tight thinking about it. Little things like that. Google is so, I wouldn't have a problem with that if they had like a little error box.
Yeah, that said like this is why
space at the end.
You complete it. They let you. They will tell you, okay, thank you, we're sending this for review, and then they'll turn around the next day like, nope.
Ain't gonna happen.
I'm just like, I did the thing, like, and you're looking over, and your headlines don't have punctuation, and all your descriptions only have periods, and they're regular sentences. They're all grammatically correct. Yep. You know what I mean? And there's no slashes anywhere funny. Nope. There's no question marks anywhere funny. Nope. You go through your headlines. You click the very end, and you do that. Like if you'll see if it's not on the letter, if there's a space next to it, you just delete it and then you try. And that was wrong with mine for like 3 weeks. It was just my husband. And like it wasn't even something that crossed my mind. I just so happened to be like complaining about it because like again I was like I can't submit this back again for review because they'll tell you on there too, if you keep sending this back to us and you didn't change anything, like we're gonna get mad at you. And I don't know what all it said, but I remember being like, I don't want to get mad at me. Hey, don't tell Ericka I'm messing it up.
I know you're doing a great job, and I know you're in there all the time. So that's why I don't even send you the emails anymore, because I know I'm like, if she's as tired of getting these emails as I am of sending them, at some point she's going to be like, you know what? Thank you for the opportunity, but I'm done. I stopped sending them because it's like, this is. I
didn't even say anything. I let you send them because I was just like, it was just served me as a reminder of like, I need to figure out what's wrong with me. Because like and I would look at them and I was like, man, but they'll tell you, we're just gonna send it off to a review, and if they send it back to you, don't go back in there immediately. I'm telling you, let it breathe for your own peace of mind.
Let it breathe. Go take a walk. Go take a walk around.
Don't even answer it that day. If you were pretty sure like that you got it and you sent it, and then they send it back to you saying no. Like, don't even go back to it that day. You just wait. You know what I mean? And then, like, I had to read the policy a couple of times on one of them because like it was like right at the very last thing, and it turned out that like it was LifeChangers as a name. I capitalized the C, and they got all mad at me. and they didn't tell me that was it. They just said this is the punctuation rule, and I was like, again, no weird letters, no weird exclamations, no weird periods, and like I didn't know about the space thing yet, but you know what I mean. But I figured out it was the C in LifeChangers was capitalized, and it was making them mad. So again, let it breathe. It's not, it's not just. And you know it's if it's been a couple of times like what I didn't do that I recommend doing is getting somebody else to look at it. I don't really have anybody else to look at it except Ericka, because Ericka can't really see.
Which is why you were desperately needed. Yeah.
But my second pair of eyes was just complaining about it to my husband, and my husband like dealing with system. You know what I mean? Like I press enter and it get his system is fancy and gives him the error box, but it gave him the error box for the space, and that was something that I hadn't come across. So, you know what I mean? I also recommend venting and complaining to anyone who'll listen.
Yeah, there you go. Find a forum. Find a forum. Well, we only have a few minutes left, and I really, me, we get into techie. So, I want to just touch on Google Analytics, because this is another one that I've spoken about, just touched on in many previous episodes. So, I truly believe you can't tweak what you don't track. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
I agree, 1,000%.
Okay, so now, give us some bullet points with Google Analytics that you do for us. Even, what just like we just finished explaining about the do's and don'ts for ads, not to get frustrated, let it breathe, because what are the do's and don'ts and must track in Google Analytics, in your opinion?
Where they're coming from. Yeah. like there's a way you can hook up Google Ads to Google Analytics to where it'll show you like which ad is like making them is making people click. And that's a great tool. Another thing to do too is when you're I don't like to rely on the on the automatic connection. I like to like know for sure, like, okay, these are where these people click. And I compare analytics from everywhere. Like, so I'm like, okay, if we got this many people, like just example, like we got this many people from Turkey who clicked on our YouTube ad, right? Just go back to that example. And then like, okay, I go into analytics. I'm like, okay, yeah, they really did go and, you know, they really did do that. I'm like, okay, you know, like,
so you're not just relying on Google Analytics being the hub for all analytics. You're going back to, okay, they said Facebook did this. Let me go check Facebook.
Yeah. And then I went into YouTube analytics, and guess I went to go find out how many people in Turkey watched our video. And like from like, so the thousands of people that clicked on our ad to the you know, the hundreds of people that clicked on the site, you know, like itself. There was to the tens of people that got to the YouTube, 11 people watched the video. And like from like and from Turkey, so like from that specific, like, so I don't like to just